Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, a second qualifier here for Star Wars 11 Korean Open Qualifier number 2. I'm, of course, your Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by my lovely plushies, the people in the chat, and these amazing players as well. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the brackets as... Oh, never mind. If you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves, as we do have to restart very quickly here before we dive into our first series. But again, it is a bracket full of players, and there are some that are missing, which is a little bit concerning. A little bit. So again, for those that are curious, there were only 2 qualifiers. There are only 2 qualifiers for the Korean qualifier. These 2 qualifiers give you access to the closed qualifier and then the main event thereafter. There are no invites. There's only one. There's only one invited player, and that is Oliveira. He's the reigning world champion. So Oliveira has been invited to the main event. Everyone else has to qualify. Speaking of, 2 days ago, we did host the first Korean qualifier, and we had players like Maru qualify. We had not just Maru, we had Cure, we had Stats, and we had Hero. 2 Terrans and 2 Protoss players did qualify through the first open qualifier, and now we need to get through the second. And I'm concerned because there's one player that did not show up for any of them, and it may be because of his military service. That is Dark. Dark did not show up for either one of these qualifiers, so he will not be a part of StarsWar 11. As for those who do not know, this is an offline event that is happening in the land of China next month. The qualifiers are in March. The main event is in April. So there's a lot of StarCraft to have here. And again, unfortunately, if you see a Korean player that didn't qualify through day 1 and isn't here in day 2, then they will not be a part of the main events. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our first player. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing himself. It is Bunny. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, also representing himself, currently teamless. It is Su. Here we go. But yeah, a lot of really high caliber players have arrived here tonight. We have players like R2 here, Su and Bunny. We have Shin, we have DRG, Solar, Classic, Ryung, Gumiho, Byun, Nightmare, and Creator. They've all rocked up here, but only 4. Only 4 players will make it through this open qualifier into the closed qualifier. That's what's brutal about this setup. 1, single elimination. 2 is that it's all best of 3s, and only 4 players will make it through. And this is just a qualifier for a qualifier. This isn't even for the main event. We still have to trim through our players and cut them in half again and again. Until then, we do have Bunny going for a Rax Expand stand set up here from our Terran player. Meanwhile, Su going for a Hash Gas Pool. And a big reason why I wanted to dive on this is because we had a very surprising result. If you were here for it 2 days ago, during the first Korean qualifier, you would know that there was a big upset. There was a big upset that happened. In round 1 of the first Korean qualifier, there was a player eliminated. A player that's here today. That was Gumiho. Gumiho got eliminated in the first round by who? By Su. Su 2-0'd Gumiho 2 days ago. And that was crazy, by the way. We weren't casting it, unfortunately. We were focusing on other series and other matchups. But the fact that Su took down Gumiho, we don't know what happened. We don't know what kind of games were had. We don't know if Gumiho was playing mech. We don't know if Gumiho was cheesing, proxying, going for 2 base all-ins, which he does whip out from time to time. Or if it was standard play. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see, alright Su, what do you got? So show us the player that 2-0'd Gumiho. Can we make another deep run in this qualifier? Likewise, Bunny has been on fire recently. Bunny, in the GSL qualifiers of this season, took down Dark. Bunny took down Dark in the GSL qualifiers. Bunny also is the only player that took down Shin at IEM Katowice in the group stage, as well in the TVZ matchup. Bunny did what Clem couldn't, what Cure couldn't. So both these players in this matchup are looking really strong right now. And we did feature Bunny in the first Korean qualifier. And Bunny was hyper aggressive, if you remember. Bunny, he was very aggressive off of 2 and 3 base play. And Bunny made Solar sweat. So I recommend watching the VODs, but to quickly recap what happened in the first qualifier when we casted Bunny versus Solar, is that when Solar opened up Standard and when Solar went into double Evo chamber before Lair into like a greedy economic opener, like Bunny was so quick to punish him, had so much momentum on his side. Bunny was so fast and Solar could not keep up. That was when Solar was cutting corners and being a little bit more economic, and I'm keeping my eye on Solar to see if he does the same, because Bunny is doing something very similar, just like what he did against Solar. Only 4 of these Hellions have been produced, only 4 Hellions. We do have a 5th and 6th Hellion on the way, into 3CC, into Liberator as a follow-up here, not even going Viking by the way, so a little bit risky, a little bit greedy out of Bunny, skipping that Viking, but going for overall a 3CC into a 1-1-1, pretty standard opener so far. Outside of the fact that we're opting to go for Liberator instead of Banshee. And we did skip that Viking. So Liberator is going to be a little bit faster here for Bunny. Again, he's just applying pressure, trying to be as assertive as possible. Now we're getting up to 6 Hellions. And behind this, Sue is going Lair first. Lair first, very safe opener. With this Lair, it leads into a Baneling Nest. There it is. Leads into Baneling Speed. Leads into delayed 1-1 upgrades. So Sue's upgrade is going to be a little bit later in favor of just a secure position here on 3 bases with his Baneling Nest, with Baneling Speed. It's a very safe way to get into this. Meanwhile, Liberator does rock up into the main. Does Siege is going to be getting a couple of drone kills. Sue, late reaction. Yeah, 5 drones go down as the Hellions, they dip in. They roast up a couple of drones here at the 3rd base as well. Very nice damage by Bunny, pulling Sue apart, re-sieging once again into the main. Oh, doesn't quite get the queen. Not quite. Likewise, Hellions, they threaten a dive, but once again, they should be deflected. Regardless, 5 drone kills was very nicely done here by Bunny. From here, he can just back off, retreat, and focus on the next step. 3rd base. 3rd base is getting up and running. We're getting into our 5-rack setup with 2 more on the way. We're still on 6 Hellion, and we at least get eyes on the next base. Did I say 6? I meant to say 8. 8 Hellion here from Bunny. Liberator rocks up. We're looking to force a cancel on this base, and we're gonna get it. Yeah, Sui does not have enough to stop this, and his base is gonna be canceled. Oh, there we go. We barely do cancel in time. Queen's Age, try to catch some of the Hellions. It looks like maybe we can get one. Oh, we get 1 Hellion in the retreat. But I'm concerned. 1, a Ling run by runs into reinforcements. The Lings, they get cleaned up, and Bunny has momentum. He denied the 4th. The 4th that was about to finish, and Su, he has to double expand. There it is. We're taking the 4th and the 5th base at the same time. Su has to catch back up. The problem is that now Bunny has momentum, and he should be going for a tank push soon. Should soon be moving out with his tanks with 1-1, and his goal is to once again deny the 4th. That's kind of his win condition, or his way to just keep a lead and keep ahead in this game, is to deny these bases. Lings, they come in for us around. We got 2 more Hellions. 2 more Hellions go down. Su gonna be backing off, spreading a big portion of that creep. Keeping it up and running. Meanwhile, okay, so instead of going for a push, and we could have moved out with our tanks, we could have moved out with our bio, we could have rocked up here and reinforced these Hellions, but no, Bunny, he keeps his tanks back at home. He's getting a 4CC, a very macro-oriented game here out of Bunny, and he's just going for some drop harass. Lings, they try to rock up, but oh, there's plenty in position to defend. We clean up those Lings at the same time. Across the map, Ling main is in position, so Suhi will hold on to his fringe bases for the time being. Does hold on to them. And yeah, Bunny, he's taking a very different approach, and I think it might just be because, again, Su, he's more of a returning player here. His result of 2-0 in Gumiho was very impressive. Maybe Bunny heard about it, but he's being very passive. Very passive here. He's applying a little bit of pressure here and there, but we're chilling back at home, getting a 4th sensor tower on the way as well as we go for some Liberator harass. But you can see here that Bunny is in no rush when it comes to actually moving out. So a much more reserved approach this time from Bunny. Primorse in Hellbats. Do have Drilling Claws on the way, plus 2 attack alongside plenty of other upgrades. So it looks like Liberator finally does fall, but that Liberator did more than pay for itself. We've killed 10 workers already this game. A lot of them due to that Lib. So Bunny in a pretty good position. He's in a pretty good place. Blackwag's going to be pushing on the right-hand side. Banelings, ooh, they crash into the Hellbats, but not much else as Bunny's going for a split push. He drops into towards the natural at the same time, getting ready for another double jump on the right-hand side. Takes down a Queen, getting a second Queen as well. The transfuse a little bit too late. Su, he will hold on to his mineral line. He will hold on to his bases, but it has lost a lot of Queens. And the drop play does continue. Drones are going down. Yeah, Su a little bit distracted on the right-hand side, which means 8 workers fall. An Overlord as well. And Bunny, he is getting damage done. Doesn't look like a loss, but that's a lot of lost mine time. That is Su with a hindered economy. With a worse economy than the Terran. And with that, Bunny is maxed out. Bunny, he is maxed. Su is one step behind. Again, he's trying to build up. We have Lings on the way. Hive Tech about to finish up. Lurker Den on the horizon here to get into Lurker production and Lurker upgrades. But we still need more time. And now Bunny is finally going to move out with his main army. For the first time this game, at the 10-minute mark, he's not harassing, but he's moving out with what he has. Leaving some reinforcements back at home. Still has drops active on the map. Here he is. Gets a Queen, the Ling Bane being zoned away as well. Decent Baneling connections. Decent Widow Mines as well. We did connect towards the end with those Banelings. But Bunny, he has enough to keep pushing. Meanwhile, there was a drop attempted here at the natural, but it was cleaned up. Still a double drop here in between the bases. We can see Su setting up a surround. And the Widow Mines are still on cooldown. Yeah, we just collapsed on the army. We clean up the tanks. We collapse here on the Widow Mines as well. And we will clean most of this up. Su having a rough engagement here. He does harass across the map. He will get a couple of drones. But his main army has fallen. He needs a little bit of time to remax. Gets 3 drones, but that is still not ideal. And so far the defense here applies. Su is looking pretty good. Cleans up the tanks. Cleans up the medevacs. Only loses 3 of those drones. He's still on 83. Still a respectable drone count. And Su is now reaching that Lurker tech. Meanwhile, Bunny is going to be stuck at home. Now, what I will say, though, is that he's pretty heavily fortified. Like, we have turrets, we have sensor towers, planetaries on the way. A 5th base, soon to be up and running. Or it is now up and running. The pressure is now on Su. The pressure is on the Zerg player to put a stop to what Bunny is up to. Just not so sure he can. Bunny once again moving out. The Lurkers have been revealed. But now we're the Lurker tech. Oh! Ooh. Good mine shot here on the Lings. But behind this we have Liberators on the way. Ghost, Liberator range as well. Again, Bunny's already working on his anti-Lurker army. Like, sure, Su, he may have Lurkers, but what do you need against him? Ah, Libs and Ghosts. That's exactly what Bunny is working towards. As we catch a base. And we force a cancel on the hatchery. We get a Queen. And we're getting even more than that. We're gaining quite a bit of ground at the same time. But you have a massive Dune drop here into the natural. Okay, Lurkers are here. Vipers, they can attempt to yoink a parasitic bomb. But we lose the base. Oh, Su getting pulled apart. This drop, it denied 2 bases, killed 1, canceled the other. Baneling Run By comes in, we get 12 SCVs, a good amount of SCV damage, but the base survives. Planetary does live. Bunny does weather the storm. How many Lurkers do we have? 4. Only 4 Lurkers, that's not a lot. We have at least 4 Lunkers. Soon moving out, splitting up his army, trying to keep up with Bunny. Likewise, this entire time, we're just making non-stop Liberators and Ghosts. We're just, yep, banking them up back at home. There they are. The libs and the ghosts. Things they attempt to collapse on the army. They get a marauder before being forced back. Likewise, a bunny pushing forward. Lane Bane going to engage. We do catch a decent chunk of marauders, and we're getting on top of the ghosts. We're trying to at least. Ghosts are going to be cutting back. They do survive. More Link Bane is left over though. Threatens the ghost, heads towards the natural instead, and we cut the ghost off from that natural base. Oh, these Hydras and Lurkers are going to go down though. It's going to be expensive trade here for Su. Meanwhile, he's breaking in. The Banelings, they get into a mineral line. Big connections here in the middle line. 23 SCVs go down. Su, he is getting economic damage done. And Su, he has a bank. He can remax. He's breaking the defenses here of Bunny. Now, Bunny did retain a lot of his ghosts. You can see here that if we look at the resources lost tab, only 4 ghosts died, 2 liberators as well. But what's important here is that Bunny did lose his economy. Su didn't. Su can remax as long as he has the larva. As long as he has larva, he can remax. Bunny, after taking that blow, he's stuck at home. Is going to be stuck at home. Liv's doing what they can. I believe 2 liberators just got picked off. More Vipers on the way. Corruptors as well. Su building up, working towards Corruptors and soon to be a Greater Spire, I imagine. Just for some more consistent anti-air as the Link Bane rolls on past the Liberation Zone's freedom. We don't even care. And the ghosts are exposed. A good portion of them go down. A big catch there for Su. He gets the ghost. He will not get the planetary, but that was worth it. That should have been worth it for Su. I mean, it looks like it is going to trigger a counterattack. How many ghosts was that? 11. 11 ghosts going down. That was massive. We are down to 5. We're down to only 5 ghosts. We will get a kill in this base. It should go down. Ooh, not just the base, but most, if not every drone. 13 drones, they get a kill in the hatchery. Very nice counter push here from Bunny. And I assume that Su had a bit of a larger bank, but it looks like Su has burned through that bank, at least the mineral side. He has plenty of gas, but the minerals are lacking. And Bunny remaxes, Su doesn't. I'm a little bit in shock here. Like, again, I do think that previous fight was good for Su, but clearly he just doesn't have the economy to back himself up. And Su needs time. He needs time to rebuild. The Lurkers are on the way. 3 Lurkers in production. Ooh. 1 good mine shot. That could spell the end here to Su. We catch the tank. Good mine shot here on the Lings. Ooh, some very nice mine shots here as well. Aye. Lings are being cleaned up back at home. Meanwhile, across the map, one of those Lurkers gets sniped, and Su, he's in a lot of trouble. At this point, he's in a lot of trouble. Bunny has rebuilt. He's remaxed. He's recovered from his earlier losses. Bunny's already back at 200 supply. And Su, he's desperately going for a Ling counterattack, but this is not worth it. Nowhere near. How many Lings are just thrown away? 196 Lings! Oh my god! 196 Lings were just killed, and I'm curious, where's the mineral bank? Well, that's where it was. That's where the mineral bank was, and there we go, we're pushing in. Parasitic bombs here on the libs. Link Bane tries to crash into the ground army, but the splits are good. The splits, they were more than good. We break on through. GG gets cold, and Bunny will take game number 1. Ooh, GG. GG, well played. Bunny was caught out a couple of times there, and I was really excited to see Su. reset the ghost count in a sense and try to keep up, but we saw that Su just was bleeding out too much, throwing away too much. Again, the fact that he lost almost 200 lings over the course of 2 fights was crazy, and it was just burning through his bank far faster than he was building up his bank. And with that, GG, Bunny just trading too efficiently. In the end, Bunny does take the win in game 1, but now we're getting into game number 2, and I'm curious to see if we adjust. Again, Bunny went for a very passive style. He was very defensive, very macro-oriented. He was just chilling, waiting, and really only focusing on drop harass more than anything. Before eventually, at the 10-minute mark, he started actually moving out with his main army. I wonder if the approach will change as we're loading into Site Delta. A very different map. Let's go. Let us go. Here we go. We're getting into game number 2. Looks like we're discussing a little bit about potentially Dark. Potentially as the reason as to why Dark isn't going to be competing in this event. Potentially. As we're getting into our next game. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran. Representing himself, currently teamless, but leading the series 1-0. It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing himself, also currently teamless. It is Su. Maybe we spoke about it. We don't know the specific date as to when Dark is going to be conducting his military service. We know it's soon TM, but we don't really know when exactly. And a big reason as to why Dark isn't going to be competing in these qualifiers is maybe because he can't travel, or it's difficult to travel at the moment for him, just because it's nearing and getting closer. That's merely speculation. Like, we don't know for certain. It's also possible that specifically getting the visa that he would need to travel to China is a little bit harder, and maybe it's going to be a little bit easier for him to travel to the Americas for DreamHack Dallas, for example. I don't know if Dark is going to be involved in that, or even the later event in Saudi Arabia, Gamers 8, or the Esports World Cup. I'm not sure if he's going to be a part of that either, but, you know, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see and find out if Dark will be a part of those events. I do hope he can, but especially because I think he's qualified. I'll have to double check whether or not he has qualified for some of those events. But we shall see. We shall see. Here we go. Now we're getting into game number 2. For now, nothing too crazy. It is going to be a Rax expand once again from Bunny, so the same open for the time being. If you remember, winding it back a little bit, last game he did go for a 3cc before Starport into Liberator Harass into 8 Hellions. Was a relatively standard game out of him, but very passive, because in the follow-up he refused to go for any earlier pushes, just relied on drop play until around the 10-minute mark. I expect that kind of playstyle to change and adjust for Bunny here on Site Delta, so we'll keep an eye out for any kind of deviations from our Terran player. Meanwhile, from the side of our Zerg, last game Su did go for a lair first. Went for a lair first into Bailings, into delayed 1-1 upgrades. Nothing too crazy. I mean, in general, he was able to keep up with Bunny for the most part. I say for the most part, the 8 Hellion Harass of Bunny did cancel the 4th base of Su. That was kind of the first step of Bunny gaining momentum, is he canceled the 4th, and then he relied on drop play to kill queens, kill drones, and get ahead economically in the early to mid game, which Bunny was able to successfully do. So we'll see if that success can be replicated. Until then, we're going to be easing into game number 2. Bunny back at home once again, 3rd CC before Starport. To have a tech lab on the way. I'm curious if we're going for an add-on stuff, or if we will be going for a faster stim. We'll see what Bunny has in store for us as Hellions are amassing, and we are going for the add-on stuff. We are opening up Banshee. Okay. This is kind of the meta opener. 3cc Banshee here. Nothing fancy this time from Bunny. No Liberators. Hellions going to be poking in. They are going to be zoned away by the Queens, as they just poke and prod, looking for a way in that they should not find. Behind this, there's Banshees, there's Cloak alongside it, getting into our 2-1-1 setup, until eventually 3-1-1 setup. 3 Raxes. And it's going to be on Su to make sure that he's able to keep up with his Queen movements and make sure he doesn't cut too much when it comes to Lings. If he has too few Lings, and if Bunny sees an opening, then he will go for a dive. And what that refers to is diving into a mineral line. I say that, but we're actually getting out of Hellion production a little bit earlier. This time we've only made 4. Only 4 Hellions for Bunny. He hasn't gone into 6 or 8. So very light Hellion commitment here, getting into much faster add-on swaps, much faster in general Marine production. So Bunny only making the bare minimum to have a presence on the map. He isn't really looking for damage the way he was last game. Not yet, at least. Not until we get into our drop play and into our Banshees. Meanwhile, the Hellions take it in. Sorry, the Lings take it in. The Hellions are a bit out of position, and Su gets a free scout. He does confirm that Cloak is in production, does confirm the follow-up, also sees that there are no more Hellions in production either. So Su is fully aware of what's going on and is preparing back at home. We have Spores. A Spore here finishing up just in time for the Banshee. It is already done. Banshee gets 1 drone so far. Ooh, gets a second. 2 drones in the natural. There's a Spore done in the main, and a Spore not quite in position at the 3rd base. A little bit more exposed. There it is. Now it's on the way. As Bunny meets up with a 2nd Banshee. Ooh, and we're headed for that 3rd base. Again, we're going to find a couple extra drones here. The Spore seconds away from finishing. Oh, yeah, we're going to get 3 extra workers here at the 3rd before moving out. So far, that's going to be 5 worker kills. Pretty good damage so far here by Bunny. Meanwhile, Su did open up with a faster lair into Baneling speed, but we're actually going for, as we get our Evo chambers, even before the Evo chambers, that is going to be a Hydrogen. Very fast Hydrogen here by Su. Very greedy of a move to go for, especially considering that we are delaying our upgrades, and 1-1 is going to be a little bit off timing here, or it's going to be a little bit wonky from Su, but we're rushing into Hydras instead. Interesting choice. Now, we have seen the extreme of this. Scarlet, as of late, for the past couple of months, has been very fond of mass Hydra. I doubt that Su is going to embrace that as much because he's still investing in melee upgrades, but yeah, just really fast commitment into Hydras. We'll see if this pays off. I think this is a wise choice considering what happened in Game 1. If you remember, Bunny was quite successful with his drop play. He was actually achieving quite a lot of damage with his drops into the main, into the natural, into the 3rd, into the 4th, and Su was taking losses. So getting into faster Hydras suddenly means you can deal with drops a lot easier, at least the medevacs, I should say. So interesting choice here by Su. Behind this, you do see Bunny getting his 3rd up and running. 4th base already done at this point. Yeah, going to be landing on the location. Very similar playstyle compared to game number 1, where Bunny is not really being too aggressive. We've exceeded the 7-minute mark. By this time, we should be moving out with tanks, but no, we're chilling back at home, and we're only dropping as we take a 4th. So once again, a much more defensive, passive style out of Bunny. Outside of the drop play, of course. Getting a couple of workers here and there. Does catch a couple of units. Banshees are getting across the map. They're looking for a cancel at the 5th. And the 5th base, it's going to be cancelled. Again, it's so close. So we get a kill as well in the drone. Nicely done there by Bunny. At the same time, Ling Bane does arrive here at the 4th base. We get a couple of SCVs. And we do manage to escape. So a nice bit of counter damage dealt here by Su. And he can always threaten a run by here towards the north. Oh, as a Widowmine is in position, so we have to be very wary here of how we do roll in. Bunny once again moving out with his double drop. Clearing up some creep. Getting a couple of Lings. Not much else as Medevacs will escape. And you can see here, Su, how many Hydras did he make? He made 11 Hydras, and that was just Ling Bane. So it was just 11 Hydras just for safety, just to keep up with the anti-air. And now we're focusing on Ling Bane, getting 2 up and running. We didn't even, we did invest into the Hydra upgrades, both of them. But now we're just hyperfixated on Ling Bane. And we're not rushing into lurkers or anything like that, not yet. I'm sure that's on the horizon. I'm sure we want to eventually work towards Hive. And there it is. Infestation bit for the Hive tech. Su, his 5th was delayed. This is the rough part here for Su, is his economy isn't where it should be right now. He needs that 5th. He needs to saturate it. He needs to build up that bank. Is working on it as he knocks down these rocks. And Su, he's headed for these bases. There are some Widow Mines. Oh! Oh! He sees! Nice bait there on the first mine. And Su rushing on forward. Banelings are rolling in as well. And Bunny's out of position, by the way. Yeah, we go straight for the Planetary. The Planetary is going to be going down. Or will it? It's so close. Ling Bane is going down. The Marines, they've arrived. Some decent Baneling connections, but there's just a little bit too much here for Bunny. He rolls on up. Against Su, he spent so much of his Ling Bane on the Planetary that didn't die. It survived. The Planetary lives. Bunny outtrades his opponent, forces Su back. Did lose 15 SCVs. Like, the worker damage was good, but Su needed more. He needed more there. Again, the army was late to respond, so Su, he had free reign of this area, but this also meant that he did spend a lot of his Ling Bane not in the main fight, so he had so much less left over, and now Bunny has momentum, taking his own 5th, while Su is still getting his own 5th up and running. 6th hatchery on the way for Larva, of course. Liberators have arrived. 3-3 on the way here for Bunny as well. There's going to be a small window where he has 3-3 against a 2-2 of Su. Just going to be going off. And Su, it does feel like he's a little bit one step behind here, as Bunny's already working on Lib Ghost. Already working on those Liberators and Ghosts. The mine shot! Ooh, good connection here on the Ling Bane. And 5th base is going to be evacuated. Ling Bane rolling on forward. We catch some of the bio. Not a bad fight here for Su. Reinforcements finally arriving. Yeah, the mine shot's not quite going off. And Su is breaking through. He's barely breaking through, getting on top of the Planetary, and this time he will get it. The Banelings, they crash in. The base is going to go down. We get 27 SCVs, and we catch the Ghosts. We catch a good portion of Ghosts, and this is the fight that Su needed. Very quickly snowballing, and GG gets called. Su takes game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. Let's go. GG. A very quick and very decisive fight there from Su. Able to collapse on that 5th base just as Bunny was left exposed. Again, that 5th was so wide open, and Bunny wasn't quite stood up with all of his mines, with all of his army. So Su very quickly was able to take a fight there at the 5th, and very quickly rushed over towards the 4th base as well. Just made sure that he did not allow Bunny to recover. And with that, Su didn't have to worry about 3-3. Didn't have to worry about what Bunny was working towards, as he was able to cripple and take Bunny down then and there, just in time. And with that, we're getting into the ace match. We're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Go. And from here, we find ourselves in that ace match. And again, this is why we dove on this series. Like, we saw how well Su and Bunny have been performing recently, and for them to make it to the ace match, not too much of a surprise, but who makes it through? Again, it's a single elimination bracket. It's brutal, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. Only one player can advance on to a qualifying match, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Solaris, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing himself, currently teamless. It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Zerg player representing himself as well, but forcing the ace match. It is Su. There we go. And we've seen the same opener, so I say the same. We did see a deviation out of Su. So we've had very similar openers where Su has been going for faster layers. Both in game 1 and game 2, he went for a faster layer into Banelings, delayed upgrades. Last game, he did mix it up by going for a faster Hydrogen as well, which I did like against Bunny. Again, just a very safe style, and it is quite punishing if Bunny is too aggressive with the faster Baneling speed and, of course, the faster Hydras. Did end up kind of leading into some overextensions, and Bunny definitely had his own opportunities in game number 2. But unfortunately, it did kind of pass him by, and Su was able to barely hit and cripple Bunny just in time. Oh. Sorry, that's just my keyboard disconnecting. Hold on, there we go. But we'll see how Bunny does adjust. As for now, Racks Expand, standard opener so far by Bunny, and on a map like Solaris, playing this like defensive style can be difficult. The reason why I say this is because of the speed zones. Speed zones, likewise, very wide open in the center of the map, especially when these rocks get knocked down as well. It can be quite dangerous to actually engage out here in the center. As a result, I wonder if Bunny's going to try and make use of this map and be hyper aggressive, or just try to avoid it and just turtle up instead. There are definitely ways to do that here on Solaris. Not easy by any means. Easy, but definitely possible. As Reaper moves out, does start his dance here against those Lings. Third base of Su has been taken. You see Bunny attempting to go for that Tumor, but Last does not get it. Tumor does survive. With that, Su, he is going to be able to hold on. And we're going to be able to settle into a bit of a longer game. Once again, at third CC before Starport. Economic opener here out of Bunny. We saw last game this led into Banshees. And with this repositioning, it looks like another Tech Lab. It looks like another add-on switch here for Bunny. Assuming he starts up the Tech Lab soon. Which he isn't. Never mind. Okay, interesting. No add-on swap here for Bunny. He's going Marine first. Looking to go for a Viking or a Liberator instead. There it is, Viking here. So with a Viking-based opener, you can shut down the Overlord. You can keep Su in the dark. You can deny any kind of scouting and hide what comes next. Tech Lab is on the way. This should just be for Stim. And this should be like Viking into Lib. We can spice things up a little bit further. But I don't really see Bunny going BC, for example. Like, he's not really that kind of player. Or he doesn't strike me as that kind of player. Yeah, Viking into Lib. Much more standard. Viking has right. The Viking revealing itself here to Su. A Liberator follow-up should be in the back of Su's mind, because it is very common. So he should be getting ready for that. As Hellions are being forced back. This time we do see Bunny investing a little bit more. If you remember last game, Bunny only made 4 Hellions. This time we're going up to 8. That's quite a lot, actually. Moving up towards 8 Hellions. Liberator on the horizon behind this. Now we're getting into full bio production. And this is very similar to how Bunny was playing in game 1. Very similar. As Hellions, they turn the Queens, they're going for it. Oh! We do have a clutch transfuse. We keep the Queen alive. Su does hold on. We'll lose an Overlord, but holds on to the Queens. Behind this, it's going to be a Baneliness first, actually. Okay. Very safe open out of Su. Baneliness followed by the Lair. Basically, this is meant to keep you safe against Hellbat pushes. So if Bunny was going for Hellbats, then Su would be safe. So just a very safe opener. Meanwhile, Liberator gets into the main base. Drones are going down. Larva as well. At the same time, we go for a big lane counterattack, and we do get a couple of SCVs. We trade 3 SCVs for 5 drones as we get into the mineral line. 7 drones go down. They got roasted. And Bunny, he is dealing damage. Not just the fact that Bunny's dealing damage, but the fact that Su went for a very inefficient opener. Mirror, he went for a very safe opener, but still took damage. So this earlier Baneliness didn't really amount to much. It did delay the lair, which delays Baneling speed. It delayed the Evo chambers, which delayed the upgrades. So off of the opener, Su is slightly behind. It's not the end of the world, but just, you know, slightly when it comes to the game of efficiency. As you see Bunny rotating around. Once again threatening those mineral lines. Bunny getting his third base up and running, getting into tank production behind this. Working towards our second tank. I believe Bunny doesn't have the DPS to cancel a base, and yeah, he's going to retreat. But he does get eyes on where the fourth base is. Su once again going for the Hydrogen, this time later than that of game 2. So a bit of a later Hydrogen, but a much more standard timing. Much more standard timing here as Bunny's actually going for a tank push. Okay, this is something that he has been avoiding this entire series, by the way. Remember, every game so far, Bunny, he's been just keeping his tanks at home, working towards a 4 CC by now, but no, this time we're pushing on 3 bases. The tanks are in position. We have our first tank, soon to be our second, and we do have links to respond. Baneling speed finishing up just in time. Yeah, we can clean this up. Oh, I say that, but we don't commit. Reinforcements arrive just in time. We have Hellions behind this. Bunny threading that hatchery, trading well with his Marines. And if the Lings ever try to dive, we have plenty of Hellions in the back line. Su in a lot of trouble. He's supply blocked. Not like this. Now is not the time. Hatchery goes down. Hatchery goes down. We Maynard those drones away. Yeah, Bunny, he kills the base. And from here, Bunny can either keep on pushing or rotate around towards the south instead. You can see the Viking we're checking. We're looking for the hatchery location. Bunny does confirm. Center base is being taken instead. And Bunny is repositioning. Denying so much creep, getting a queen. Does catch a queen. Big volleys off on the Lings as well. Now behind this isn't a 3-base all-in. Bunny is working on a 4th CC, is working towards 2-2. Creep is looking decent, but here comes a double drop from the right-hand side. Catch some tumors. Again, threatening bases. The 6th hatchery is going to be denied. Sorry, the 5th hatchery is going to be denied. The 4th is going to get up and running, just barely. But again, there's barely any creep covering the space. It's looking so vulnerable. Yes, Su, he does collapse on top of one of those tanks, but this is not worth it here. A bit of an overextension by Su. Takes some big tank shots to the face. Oof. Losing queens and barely gets a tank. He will clean this up. That was a costly trade, though. That costs us queens, hydras, lings, of course. But Su does hold on to that 4th. No 5th yet. Again, you can see that Bunny is in position to deny it. Hoping that Su were to expand here towards the south. But Bunny, he's on top of everything. Denies the northern base. Hatchery goes down. Su is being contained, and behind this Bunny, he's maxing out. He's on the cusp, on the brink of getting to that 200 supply. And Su is having a hard time keeping up. Oh, we do have a hive on the way. Again, we're taking up at least. But again, Su is still just struggling to hold on. Bunny just waiting for reinforcements, and now we're pushing. Good kiting here out of Bunny. Shaves off a lot of Lingbane. Up! Ooh, Mind Shot's going to be connecting here with the Ling Bane as well. And Bunny should be able to clean that up. At the same time, we do see Su denying a southern base. Does deny the CC. Does delay the 5th at least. Again, very important here that Su is as proactive as he is. And the creep is still looking good, at least in the center. So we got some decent crease right here from Su. It is slowing down the aggression of Bunny, and Su is getting these bases up and running. Slowly but surely, they're getting there. And Su, he does decide to commit. Ooh, bleeding out a lot of Banelings into Marauders, though. That was not the ideal fight. Once again, turns around. Xiaomi's dance back and forth. At the same time, Sui denies that 5th base once again. Making sure that Bunny cannot expand, and Bunny backs off. Okay, I like this. So Bunny, instead of pushing forward and trying to threaten these bases, he's more concerned about expanding and taking his own. He's like, okay, I'm gonna back off. I need to expand. I need to get this base up and running. So Bunny retreats, and Su, he finally gets some room to breathe. He can finally breathe. He can finally force his opponent to back off, and now we're taking more gases. Joining on up. The Hive is done. Adrenal's on the way. Infestors as well. We have a couple of Vipers. Su is able to finally refine his army. He's got 1 Viper, 2 Infestors. No Lurkers. Just Ling Bane Hydra with those spellcasters. 3-3 has yet to begin, which is concerning. There we go. 3-3 now on the way. It was delayed by a little bit. And there's going to be a big window where Bunny has that upgrade advantage. Ling Bane rolling in. The Banelings, they crash into the Planetary. Planetary goes down. We deny the 5th. Once again, containing Bunny here to 4 bases. And he needs another base. We'll land it this time as an orbital, not a planetary. It's going to be a little bit more vulnerable. So he gets a fungal. Oh, the fungal gets a full medevac as well. Very nice catch. Gets a medevac, shuts down some of those tanks as well. The tanks and the libs. Yeah, very nice fight here from Su, collapsing on the would-be ghost. No detection. The ghosts. Oh my god. We barely do crash in. We get a couple of ghosts. Was that 2? 3. 3 ghosts go down. Bunny backing up. Sorry, Su backing off. Meanwhile, Bunny dropping into the main. Ooh, in the midst of that attack, a big counter attack here. We blindside Su. Spawning pool goes down. It's a big pickup. Lings, they cannot be made. At least not until the spawning pool gets rebuilt. It's here at the natural. That will slow Su down. Behind this, Bunny still trying to expand. Is double expanding, actually. Expanding towards the south and the center. Su rushing right through the center instead. Liberator's out of position. We get an okay Mind Shot. Good EMP. Oh my god. EMPs were good, but what about the Banelings? We force a bit of friendly fire with that Widow Mine. A fungal does connect. And there are barely enough Banelings. Su, he's slowly breaking through. Needs a little bit more. He has pure Hydra. Not the most ideal army, and we are out of detection. The Ghosts hold. The Ghosts, they barely hold on. And a very close fight there for Bunny. Su, if he had 1 Overseer, then he probably cleans up every single ghost there. But that was a really big defense for Bunny, because upon defending here in the center for Bunny, he gets away with his 2 expansions. That is a 5th and a 6th TC now getting up and running, now both turning into planetaries. That is huge. Can Bunny hold? Su's remaxing is coming in again. Once again pushing through the center, avoiding the planetaries. Decent mine connections, we take down the lib. And we're pushing towards that natural as well. There is a tank to reinforce. More Liberators are arriving. The freedom is here. Suhi tries to ignore it. Goes to the Mineral Lines. He's dealing some damage, but he's still looking for more. And there we go. He's camping the production. Trying to at least. This is an efficient fight here for Bunny, but lose the tank. And Su, it looks like he may just have too much. Reinforcements on the way. He still has Lings in the main. Still has Lings in the main. He surrounds Bunny. Takes down a Ghost. Pushing into Liberator is always going to be difficult here, but Su, he's done what he's been looking for. Taking down Raxus, taking down the main base. And the Fungal catches the Ghosts. The Ghosts go down and the main has been broken. And Su, he's doing it. Finally, he has done it. He was under so much pressure earlier. He was really struggling to expand and take a 5th. But Su, he weathered the storm. He weathered the Bunny. Gets into the main. Shuts down the production. And Su is running away with this. And sure, Bunny, he finally expanded, right? He took these 2 bases, but at what cost? You know, again, Su, he recognized how vulnerable Bunny was in the center of the map. Or at this center ramp. It takes down the final Ghost as well. GG gets called, and Su will advance on into a qualifying match. Bunny is eliminated from the qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Su as he makes it onto a qualifying match. A big win here for him. I was concerned. I was very concerned for Su, especially with Bunny in the driver's seat. Like, Bunny, he was in full control initially, just denying 4th base. Denying the 5th and the 4th even, time and time again. Giving Su a really hard time there in the early game. But something that was important that we were pointing out is that Su never allowed Bunny to take a 5th. He just never allowed that 5th base to get up and running. He was always there with Lings, with Banelings, constantly harassing, constantly in position to deny that base from landing. And even when that base was finally taken, Su was always there to knock it down. Whether it was a planetary, whether it was an orbital, he was always denying that base. Eventually, Bunny was able to take it, but by that point, Su didn't care. Su, he was going for the kill, going for the throat. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations. My condolences to Bunny. I'm a big Bunny fan. I do love him as a player, and unfortunately, Bunny, he won't be a part of this event. He won't be a part of StarsWar, unfortunately. Instead, it's going to come up to either Su or Classic to make a deeper run and make it into the closed qualifier. It was a big win for Su. Big win for Su. But it doesn't get easier from here. Up next, Su versus Classic. Let's go. Oh, my apologies. So Su versus Classic is actually going to be held. It is a match on the horizon, and we will cast Su versus Classic. Don't get me wrong. We'll be there for it. We'll be there for it. But we are being notified by the admins that Su versus Classic is going to be held. It is going to be held a little bit longer. Let me just quickly fix that up. And we're going to be casting a different match first. What match? Well, let's find out. Let us find out. Exclamation mark B in the chat. We have a lot of updates to go over. Okay, from the top, Beyond vs. Nightmare is currently ongoing. I believe it's being casted by Steadfast. I think Steadfast is covering that series, and they're in the ace match. They're currently in game number 3. Winner goes up against Creator, and that is a qualifying match. Speaking of, Gumiho 2-0's Ryung in a TVT, and Gumiho is the first player to qualify for the Korean closed qualifier for StarsWar 11. So congratulations to Gumiho, he's already qualified. Meanwhile, we had some speedrunners in here. Shin 2-0's DRG, Solar 2-1's Shin. Fun fact, those 2 best of 3s were played out while we had our only best of 1. Like those were fast games. that was 5 games played in the period of our 3 games. That's crazy. We didn't even have any late game really. We had a bit of like mid to late game. But yeah, so Solar, he qualifies in all those ZVZs. Solar, of course, with some of the best ZVZ in the world, even Serral is afraid of Solar ZVZ. So congratulations to Solar and Gumiho. They have qualified. As a reminder, top 4 players qualify. Top 4 qualify, so again, you only have to make it to the semifinals to make it into the closed qualifier. My condolences to Ryung, to Shin, to DRG, and to Bunny, as they will not be a part of this event. As I just mentioned, Su versus Classic is going to be held. It is going to be a held match here, and we will instead be casting Creator versus the winner of Beyond a Nightmare. Here we go. Let's quickly set that up. So we're just waiting for Beyond versus Nightmare to finish, and when it does, we're going to be casting the winner of that series against Creator, and then after that, we cast Classic versus Su. So we have 2 qualifying matches ahead of us. 2 qualifying matches. Just need to wait and see how they do turn out. Creator versus TBD into Su versus Classic. Beautiful, beautiful. Su versus Classic feels 2014, man. True, true. The rematch. For now, we're going to be going on a short break. I guess we're going on a short break. We're waiting for Beyond series to finish, for Beyond versus Nightmare. Once they do wrap up, bam, we got you covered. We got you covered with our next match. Sorry, I was just catching up in the chat. Just catching up in the chat. So we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a very short break. When we return, we will have our next series. See you soon. Ha! See you then. Ga, baby, ga. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I apologize for the delays, but we were just waiting for Bjorn vs. Nightmare to wrap up, and we have our results. I just updated you in the chat, but Bjorn did take down Nightmare 2-1. Nightmare has been eliminated. They went to the ace match, but he has gone down, and now Bjorn is going to be going up against Creator. After this, he's advanced on into a qualifying match, but we have our first qualifying match ahead of us. It is going to be a ZVP between these two lovely players, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlead, we have our South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg, representing himself. It is Soo. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player representing Team Twisted Minds. It is Classic. So we have two qualifying matches left in the tournament. In the qualifier, we have Classic versus Soo, followed by Bjorn versus Creator. They will both be casted on this channel, one after the other. And if you are in the chat, Predictions will soon be open. I was woefully underprepared. I misinterpreted and misunderstood what was happening. I thought it was the other series first, so I needed a little bit more time to set things up. But again, if you're in the chat, you can get your gamba on. The gamba, papi, the gamba. You'll have a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes to actually get everything set up. Where are we? There we go. And predictions in the chat are now open. Place your bets. Someone hearing this message, you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, predictions open. To place your bets on who you think qualifies for the StarsWar 11 Korean closed qualifier. Who will it be? It can only be one. It is up to you to decide. For now, Hatchgas will standard open out of Soo. Likewise, a gate expand into Cybercore from Classic. Standard openers all around between both Classic and Soo. Nothing crazy, nothing out of the norm yet, as we are settling into our ZVP. Now, Classic has had a lot of fun in this matchup as of late. Classic is a very aggressive player, and he's very fond of Stargate openers into Void Ray. This pylon is placed a little bit further back, but if it is a Stargate, this would be a good position for a Void Ray opener. Otherwise, we could be seeing a Twilight Council first instead. Regardless, aggression is always on the horizon. And there it is, Classic throwing down that Stargate right next to his gas. Guys are very close to the mineral line. A very efficient Stargate here from Classic. And again, I'm feeling the Void Ray first. Classic is so fond of Void Ray first. The reason why, I mean, it's possible that it isn't going to be that, but if it is, Classic is just so flexible with it, able to have so many different variations, so many different adaptations and follow-ups here to the Void Ray. You can go into Stargate play, into Sky Toss, into Mass Void Ray, into Mass Phoenix, into Charge Lot All-Ins, into Glaive Adepts, which is a little bit more common. We shall see. As first, that Stargate is rallied here in towards the main base, and we are going for what exactly first? Oracle first. Okay, not Void Ray. But what's interesting to me is that we have it rallied here further into the main. I wonder if we're going to build them up. Stalker first. Okay, I like this. So, the Stalker first usually means Twilight Council. That's traditionally what this does kind of translate to. So, Soo, he has a piece of the puzzle. He's being fed false information, and he cannot leave this pillar. He's stuck here because of that Stalker. That is soon about to change with the arrival of the Oracle. Oracle is going to shut this down. Second Oracle is on the way. And Soo, the idea here behind this is that Soo has very little time to respond and to react and to actually get prepared for what comes next. As the third is on the way. We're building up towards additional Oracles back at home. Soo happily getting his third base, droning on up, working towards the spores, and chilling back at home. Making queens, and there are the spores in production. One spore in the main for the time being. As that Overlord is going to be shut down, and now we can move out across the map. Two Oracles that can one-shot drones. Third base looking a little bit exposed, so is that natural. The Queens, though, are in position. They are in position. We'll see if Classic can find some damage with this. So we dip in between the bases. And we do get a couple of drones actually here at the natural. The Spore wasn't quite done. Spore was not done. We get one extra drone too. Ooh, we're a little bit greedy. A little bit too greedy in the Oracles. They will barely escape on a slither of HP. They get 6 drones in total, and they both make it. Oh god, they both make it out. Behind this is going to be a Robo into Fortune Twilight Council. This should be for +1 and either Blink or Charge. We'll keep an eye on this. We'll keep an eye on those Twilight Councils to see what Classic does want to dive into. As we're settling into our 3-way setup. So far, Classic did a good amount of economic damage. Classic taking a lead economically. And Su is just droning up as hard as he can to catch back up. Roach Warren's on the way. Adept's going to be threatening a shade. We dive on top of the 4th. Ooh, and we force a cancel. Big cancel on the 4th base. We take down one of those tumors as well. Shade going to be threatening that natural, but Suhi's in position, and there it is. Charge is on the way. Additional gateways alongside this as well. It's going to be, I believe, 5 gates for the time being. 5-gate charge into Archons as well. Gonna have very aggressive follow-up here for Classic. As I did mention, it was interesting to see that. Oh, I'm a little bit concerned with Su. But I was going to say it was very interesting to see that we did go for a Robo first before any further tech, which did kind of lend towards this. Lend towards Immortal Production, Charge the Archon. Now, this push is going to hit like a truck, by the way. We're going to be working on a Death Bull of an army. And I'm concerned for Su because Su is going for a Spire. And it gets scouted as well. The Revelation does land on it, so Classic is fully aware of what's going on. Storm is on the way, and I'm worried that Su would bank up too many resources that Classic would arrive, and Su would be ready for mutas when he needs anything but. Now, thankfully, Su knows he got scouted, right? Like, Su, he knows, the Classic knows that Su is going into mutas. So, because of that, Su could cancel the Spire, or he could just invest more heavily into Roaches instead, being fully aware that Classic should be prepared for mutas. Speaking of, second Stargate is on the way. That's going to be for double Stargate Phoenix production. Again, Classic taking the threat of mutas very seriously. It is a very serious threat. Again, he's just, and now even working on Phoenixes just in case, building up his Death Bull of an army on the ground. Storm, Immortals, Archons. How much do we have? 4 High Templar, 2 soon to be 3 Immortals. And we are going Corruptor instead. I like this. As we mentioned, Su knows he got scattered, so he's not making mutas. Of course not. Mutas, they would just die. So we're going Corruptor instead. Corruptors, they have a role. Of course, they can shut down the Oracles. They can shut down the Phoenixes. They are not the best supply right now because, again, Su's gambling a little bit, and he doesn't know how many Phoenixes there are. But Ken is making Corruptors nonetheless, and they will have their own place here. Getting up to 5 Corruptors. And they have revealed themselves. They catch an Oracle. A nice pick up for Su. Very nice pickup. As from here, we do see the Overseer being shut down as well. In between the bases. Oh my god, Classic. Interesting. So I'm fully anticipating the fact that Classic was willing to go for a big push on 4 bases and go for this kind of timing with Storm. But upon recognizing what Su is up to with, you know, a handful of Corruptors with mainly Lingbane Roach Ravager, we're working towards Sky Toss. We are working towards Sky Toss instead. So Classic is turtling. He's turtling up on 4 bases, getting a 5th. And he's working towards what looks to be a carrier transition. Before that does occur, the Prism is on the way. We can still move out on the ground. And will Su be ready for this? What is Su working with? He's got Lingbane Roach Ravager. He's got 16 Banelings, a handful of Ravagers, 5 of them. Classic is pushing out at the same time a big Ling counterattack. But there are Oracles to defend. Classic, he will hold. Corruptors are coming in. Yeah, they zone away those Oracles. They get a kill on 1. And they force the army back home. We collapse here on top of that Nexus. But we won't get it. Nexus will survive. As we're defending again, I'm feeling like we should be working towards Sky Toss, but still no Tempest, no Carrier, no Void Ray. Nothing yet. Considering that we've gone Corruptor first, I would have assumed like Fluxbane Void Rays would be a nice addition. Would be, but Classic is about to max out. Oh, nice storm on the Lingbane. Nice storm to kick things off. And again, this army is so Baneling heavy. 2 good storms is all we need. Speaking of being Baneling heavy, Banelings, they are waddling towards that 3rd. Good reaction at a Classic. Is going to lose a couple of workers, but not too many. 4 probes go down. At the same time, Su Kano attacking, hitting that 4th once again. Sorry, hitting the 5th once again. With his Lingbane. Yeah, they will shut it down. Overcharge is going to be popped. Army coming in from behind. Behind the base, it's going to be going down. That's 12 worker kills already. Classic losing quite a lot here. Now he has to commit. I don't know if he really wanted to. Zello over into the main base is going to be distracting the main army. Meanwhile, Classic pushing right through the center. Pushing right through the middle with how much? 7 Archons, 5 Immortals, 5 High Templar. We have a good amount of Storms. We can't waste them. Storms used on Ravagers here, but we need them for the Lingbane. Speaking of, here come the Lings. Oh, 2 Storms to spend. We have 1 Storm left. Banelings, they crash into the Archons. 2 Storms are left. We throw them down here on the Lingbane, on the Ravagers, but the Broodlords, they have arrived. Just in time, the Broodlords are here, and Suhi will hold. But he lost a lot in the process. The base falls, 12 drones as well. Classic is being forced back at the same time. Zella run by, going for the base, won't get it. Yeah, plenty of transfuse. The Broodlords, they arrive just in time, and they're forcing out Sky Toss. Oh, meanwhile, Su not quite done yet. He does save some of his army. He retreats back home with a couple of Immortals, couple of Archons. But Su's stuck on 4 bases, so we have to take a moment here. Okay, we have to take a moment. Classic, he's on a subpar economy. He's on 4 bases, no 5th in sight. No 5th whatsoever as we struggle to afford Sky Toss. An army that, again, we just don't really have the economy to sustain right now. So Classic is in a lot of trouble when it comes to maxing out and sustaining himself. Meanwhile, Su has bases. Some of them at least has 4 bases, but his 5th, 6th, and 7th are on the way. He's triple expanding. Su does not have efficient mining right now. So Su can't remax. He has slightly better army, but Su has no anti-air. No anti-air, no corruptors, no hydras. The carriers are going ham. The biles, they graze the army, but nothing shoots up. We have some queens. The queens that we have, is it enough? We're getting on some of the carriers. Carriers getting low. Classic. He's leaving them alone. Classic bleeds out a carrier. But his ground army is just too much here. He will shut Su down. Su, he just needed time. He needed time for these bases to get up and running. But alas, GG gets called. It's not going to be enough. And Classic will take game number 1. GG. Very chaotic game. GG, well played. Classic takes the lead. Takes the lead here in this best of 3. I see someone in the chat. Is this played on the new patch? The new patch is not live. The new patch is on the PTR. So no. No, new patch isn't final. It's in the PTR to be tested. There we go. Again, the new patch was announced yesterday. But they themselves, the developers, or I should say the people behind the patch themselves, said that it's open to testing and it is not final. Changes can be made to it. So I'm sure that there might be some events that use it. I don't know. I'm sure there's going to be like a PTR tournament that Wardy will host. I feel like Wardy usually hosts PTR events, so that maybe that's on the horizon. But for now, no one is touching the PTR with professional events. That wouldn't make any sense. So premier events like DreamHack, like StarsWar, like WTL, they won't be touching the PTR. It just wouldn't make sense for that. As a heads up. And here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our South Korean Zerg player. The blue Zerg representing himself down in this series, looking to fight back. It is Su. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0. It is Classic. And everything happened so quickly, but in those final moments of the last game, Classic was pretty all in. Basically, Classic was all in. He had to end the game. He had to end the game with that push, and was so fortunate that Su was still recovering from his own economic damage, that he just didn't have any anti-air. He didn't have, not even just anti-air, but an army to contend with. And Su was rolled over. So GG, a big win there for Classic. And now Classic needs one more. Uno más, one more win and Classic will qualify for StarsWar 11 for the closed Korean qualifiers. Su needs to fight back here and now, otherwise he's out of the qualifier and out of the tournament. We need time before the patch hits, so the 2v2 ladder doesn't have a 1v1 map from HOTS on it. Was that Overgrowth, right? I mean, to be fair, Overgrowth did have a Legacy of the Void edition, right? I'm curious. I think that's intentional. And I'm okay with it. If it's intentional, I like the idea. Give us 2v2 Overgrowth, Papi. Let's go. Let's go. I don't think that was unintentional. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong. We'll see. We'll see if it goes through. The nostalgia, Papi. The nostalgia. But I do really appreciate it. Shout out to the people working at ESL, because I do know that they, for a long time, they've actually been wanting to update the multiplayer, sorry, the team game map pool, and it hasn't been updated in a long time, in over a year, in years actually, it hasn't been updated. And I know that the people at ESL, they've been wanting to, they just haven't been able to, just because there's been so much going on. They've had so much work to do. So it's really cool that finally the team map pool for 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 is going to be updated. So that's really cool to hear. Really cool to hear. I made the map pool. Let's go. It's not intended. Oh, okay. ESL did nothing. I mean, you say ESL did nothing. I'm pretty sure they, if I'm not mistaken, they like approach you to like, yeah. They messed it up. I mean, they'll fix it. It's all good. I'm sure they'll fix it. I have faith, Papi. I have faith that they'll fix it. Oh. But yeah, much love. Much love to the people behind it, nonetheless. As we are going to be settling in. So far, going for a third base, going for a third hatchery. Behind this, we have another Stargate opener out of Classic. As we saw in the previous game, once again, going to be going for the Oracle first. And once again, going to be focusing on shutting down the Overlord here of Su, keeping him in the dark as to what the follow-up is going to be. This should just be leading into another triple Oracle opener at a Classic. Triple Oracle into a third base, as we saw previously. We'll see if Su does decide to mix it up. As a reminder, he was more of the defender, reacting to what he was scouting. I say that Su did try to rush into a Spire in game number 1. Unfortunately, it was immediately scouted. Immediately, it was scouted by Classic, and Su had to divert his plans, went into Corruptors. Did lead into, oh my god, let's go. I was going to say, did lead into a really nice Broodlord timing that allowed Su to survive, but surviving wasn't quite living there for Su. As the follow-up from Classic has been confirmed. I believe Su didn't see. He's in the dark here, but that's a very fast robo from Su. Going for 2 more gateways behind this. Very interesting. Is this going to be like a bit of a... I'm curious if this is going to be a bit of a Soul Train-esque push here, where we prioritize Immortal production and getting to Sentries. I say that the Forge is an interesting one thrown into the mix. I'm curious how this all pieces together here for Classic. I'm curious if this is just to go into fast Bay, into second Robo, into double Colossus production. That would make sense with these upgrades. I'm here to bear witness. Behind this, Oracles are getting damage done. They get 5 drones across the map. The Oracles, they take a lot of hits here, but they barely do escape getting those 5 drones. Su, again, he was not quite where he needed to be. There it is. There's the Bay on the way. So it is going to be for that double Colossus production. Again, I'm assuming that this is going to be for a second Robo and Colossus from Classic. I'm assuming here, as Lings, they do dip in. They skirt by. Trying to get Arena what's going on. A very delayed Twilight Council here out of Classic as well. Prioritization of the Robo, of the Bay, of the Colossus. I'm also assuming it's Colossus because it's a little bit more standard. It'd be crazy if we went Disruptor first instead. It would be crazy. I'm here for the nonsense. As Lings are shut down. There it is, Colossus on the way. We're still only making one at a time, which is interesting to me, just because, again, of our prioritization of it and the fact that we did not go for the second Robo. So we're going to slowly get into our Colossus production. We can hit, I guess, oh my god, wait, what? I was about to say that we can maybe try to hit like a triple Colossus timing with +2, but no, we're going straight into Sky Toss instead. This is... I'm being thrown for a bit of a loop here, not going to lie. Meanwhile, what did Classic see? He confirmed the fourth base, confirmed saturation. We do see that Su is actually going into Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra with a fast infestation rate, rushing into Hive Tech as well. Okay, so Su hasn't actually seen anything in the main, and I'm happy about that just because it's chaos right now in the main base of Classic. But Su happens to be going into what looks to be Hydra Lurker Viper. Like, the fast Hive is going to work wonders for Su. Very important here to get into Viper Tech. Vipers will help against both Colossus and Carriers as well from the side of Classic. Lurker Den on the way. Su powering down these rocks. Classic rushing into that double Carrier production. Charge on the way alongside Temple Archives. Just a very tech-heavy style here from Classic. And very defensive. Again, he's stuck at home. This I should have emphasized that as well. With the Robo Opener, you're stuck at home. And we can't really do much here. Especially since we aren't actually working towards any kind of Colossus-based timing. We're going to be defending, receiving whatever Su has ready to throw at us. Classic did see the timing of the Hive, so Classic is aware that, again, fast Hive Tech and fast Vipers are going to be available. With that, we should have High Templar to respond. We're being active with our Oracles, at least trying to be, and we're turtling up on 4 bases. Yeah, and now we confirm the Sky Toss. Okay, now Su's aware of what's going on. Now the question becomes, we can hit a timing with Hydra Lurker Viper. We can still pull that off if the carrier count is low enough. We are still on 2 carriers. So Su could try to go for that, or he could drone, double expand, and like work towards a Spire and a Greater Spire and Corruptors. The ball is now in Su's court. I'm concerned that this scout may be too late, and maybe we've missed our timing with Hydra Lurker Viper. As this army of Su doesn't scale amazingly as the game goes on, as the carrier count gets higher. As right now we have 0 Hydras. They're now on the way. Likewise, 0 Vipers, which I'm shocked by. Sure, we get really fast Lurkers, that's cool and all. That's great. They do get revealed. But the lack of Vipers does mean that in a head-on fight, we have a little bit more utility to support this army, a little bit less flexibility for Su. Yeah, Classic, he can be assertive like this, and he's not going to be punished. Like, there's no yoink, and yeah, we're just forcing Su back. Oh boy, and Su is going for double Spire. He's going for double Spire, that's going to be for the Greater Spire for Corruptors. He's working towards a longer game. But, we'll see if he can get there. Su invested quite heavily into this army. Like, that's a lot of Lurkers and Hydras. How many? 10. 10 Lurkers, 14 Hydras. There it is. Nidus Swarm on the way. I appreciate the Nidus Swarm here for Su, just because it's a good way to actually be active and counterattack across the map. And try to get some damage done. Like, there's a lot of pressure on Su right now. Like, he knows that the quality of the army of Classic is just getting better and better. And he needs to do something about the economy. He needs to try to deny one of these bases, or at least contain his opponent. But again, even containing may not be enough. As Classic is working on a 5th. Saving Private Pro, bringing him home. Let's go. Alright, this Corruptor is now on the way for Su. Yeah, as he does pave his way through the Spore Forest. We do have Corruptors on the way. The downside here is these are going to be 0-0 Corruptors, by the way. Ay, ay, ay. Now, as Classic pushes out, we do have a big counterattack. Su, he will shut down the fifth. Fifth base is going down, but Classic doesn't even care. Oh, big storm here on the Corruptors. First carrier goes down. We get one. And we're barely getting the second carrier and the third carrier as well. Big pickups here by Su. We come in for the surround. And the carriers are very exposed. We get a recall, but it's not going to be enough. And we do bleed out almost every single carrier. A very nice surround there from Su. And what did Su lose? He traded out his army, yes, but what about the economy? Su, he's on 90 drones. He has a booming economy here. And Classic, he was pretty all in. That was a pretty all-in move. Classic, he might be on 80 workers, but you can see here he's oversaturated. He needs another Nexus. He needs a base. Meanwhile, Night Swarm, it's going to finish. Does finish in the main. Corruptors come out. Oh, we do have detection, though. Force back the army. Su going in for another counterattack, rocking up with his Corruptors. And Su should be the first to remax, and if all goes well for Su, he never allows Classic to expand. This base should not get up and running. Well, I should say, it's on Classic to create enough chaos here to allow himself to actually get another base. And Classic actually double expands. Okay. So we have a 5th and a 6th base on the way at the same time. Classic just needs one. I mean, he would love both, don't get me wrong. But right now, he just needs one to get up and running to sustain himself. So he can max out. Lurkers, they deny the base on the right-hand side. Su has not seen left. Oh, he has not seen that center base. Doesn't know. But is pushing towards that natural. Overseer goes down. No detection. And no detection for Su. And he will bleed out some of these Lurkers. Now, thankfully, Su is catching up in upgrades. We have a 2-2 on the way for his Corruptors. 2-2 on the horizon. Again, we have a beautiful economy here for Su as well. Working towards eventually 3-3. The Corruptor count is looking quite healthy. 23 Corruptors. Let's go. And we don't have Blink, so a ground transition is going to be difficult for Classic. Whereas we'd have players look to lose their carriers and go for like a big Stalker Warping or something like that. That isn't really viable here for Classic. Without Blink. Without those ground upgrades. So instead, going to be reinforcing with Void Rays, which will help. Void Rays is a good way to deal with the Mass Corruptor. What kind of spellcasters are we working with? We have 5 Infestors for fungal growths. Neural is on the way. We have 1 Viper with the main army as well. And it's going to be very important here for Classic to be proactive and to be the first to engage. Like, Classic's got a massive bank. Sorry, Classic? Sorry, I meant to say Su. Su has to be proactive and Su has to be the one to engage. Because Su has a massive bank. He's got 4k to 2k, essentially. Soon to be 5k minerals in the bank. Again, if he fights on Classic's terms, then Classic is going to be able to win a fight and then push forward toward one of these bases. And kill a base as well. Here's Su, he does spot the army. It's moving out. Here we go, he's pushing forward into the creep force once again. Good feedback here on the Vipers. Feedback and Storm. Likewise, we do have a fungal, but where's the power bomb? Not quite there. Mothership does go down. But alas, it looks like there's just too much Protoss here. The Storms are insane. The Storms on the army. The Corruptors, they just cannot collapse here on the carriers, and they're being forced further and further back. And Classic will get on top of the base. Lurker Den, Hydrogen are looking to go down. Su coming in once again, but the storms, we still had plenty left over. We have 2 more storms left. Yeah, and they zone back the Corruptors. They're trickling in. Classic takes an insane fight. Does he have enough, though? Here's the Remax. The Remax of Corruptors. Do we have a recall? We don't. No recall available here. 2 last storms. The Immortals, they can't do anything. There's the recall. Saving 1 carrier. The Corruptor Remax barely held. And again, now would be a really good moment for Blink Stalkers. We just warp in, like if we had like 10 or 12 gateways, just like a big warp into Blink Stalkers. But we don't have that available. We don't have Blink, we don't have the gateways for that. And we have a pretty vulnerable army here. But again, what does Su have? Su has Corruptor. No Broodlords. No Broodlords for Su, and can he deal with the ground army? Uh-oh. I mean, thankfully the Hydrogen survived. We have 15 Hydrogens on the way. If this Hydrogen was picked off, Su might just die. Su would be in a lot of trouble. Base is going to be going down. Su, he's going to be hunting down Nexi. He's going for the bases, going for the Nexus. Meanwhile, Classic very quickly trying to move between the bases. Big storm on the Hydras. Oh my god. Yeah, so many Hydras get softened up. We dive on top of those Queens. We deny the center base. Meanwhile, Su, he killed 2 Nexus. Did kill 2 bases. Going for the natural as well with a big link counter attack. We're going for a base trade. Hydrogen finally goes down, but Su, he has a Hydra army. He's got a force to work with. Broodlords! That's it. Broodlords are on the way. That is the win condition for Su. Without any Skytoss, how do we deal with Broodlords? We can't. We just cannot. As Lings, they take down the natural. Bases are being rebuilt, but the Broodlords are about to revive. Top right gets shut down. We see Classic going for another hatchery, another mining base. One of the final mining bases here of Su. But here we go, the Broodlords are coming in. Natural is going down. Hydras, they reveal themselves. And again, Classic, this kind of army has potential with Storm, but that's like all he has. He has to try to kill these Broodlords with Storm and Archons. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, Cybercores are going down. They'll say come in to deal with those Lings. They have +3. Yeah, the Lings are melting. We have Hydra Corruptor here. Tempests are on the way, but we are camping the production here with the Corruptors. Yeah, the Tempests, they are not a good enough answer. They're going to get shut down. Now, Broodlords are very slow, and Classic still has mining. He has a full mining base here. So does Su. Su has center left. Classic has center right. Classic is reestablishing himself. He did sneak out a couple of Tempests. Somehow he did it. Did sneak out those Tempests. You can see there that Classic, he intentionally canceled his Tempest, so he's just keeping these Corruptors at bay. And there we go. We're going in. We have 3 Tempests and 1 carrier. Can't we shut down these Broodlords? We're racing back home. We see the Tempest. Yeah, instead we go for the final mining base. So many drones are going to be going down. Oh my god. 8 workers. There's no detection. They do burrow. Oh no! They're not safe. We kill 17. There we go. Detection has arrived. Su trying to squeeze out this southern base. Classic, he's got 2 mining bases. So, oh, he does have 2 mining bases. Soon to be 3. Classic has an economy. He's rebuilding. And now his corruption is safe. He forced back the Corruptors. He's actually making Tempest. Ooh, big storms on the Hydras. Oh my god. But the High Templar. We just got 2. Oh, we almost get a 3rd. 2 High Templar and an Archon. Very nice pickoffs there by Su. Punishing the storms. We're backing off. More Corruptors on the way. Again, the problem here is the tech. If I'm not mistaken, let me just double check here. Yep, we do have a Hydrogen actually. Did rebuild it. We still have our Spires. We're just going pure Corrupted Broodlord. Jesus. 14 Broodlords. 14 Broodlords, 16 Corruptors. And we have this bottom left base. We still have a base mining here for Su. I assume the Classic would shut it down, but Classic he didn't see. Doesn't know. The creep is spreading. Su should be able to deny the southern base. Once he catches wind, he hasn't seen it yet. This is still a very tense moment. So, Classic is maxed out. He is maxed, but I want to say that Su has more potential with his army, depending on the angle of attack, right? It's like, if Su is able to kill these Tempests, then the Broodlords will reign supreme. But that's a big if. That's only if he can get on top of the Tempest. If Classic can successfully defend those Tempests and protect them, then it's going to be Classic's game. It's going to be the game of the Protoss. If he can keep his Tempest safe. Because again, his Tempest are his only secure way to deal with those Broodlords. How many High Templar? 5. 5 High Templar. Each with at least 1 Storm. At least. Tempest volley goes off. Broodlings are cleaned up. That was a lot of Broodlings though. That's a lot of DPS potential as we snipe another one of those Corruptors. Oh! Another wave of Tempest Shock goes off. Storm here on the Broods. Ooh, 1 Storm, 2 High Templar go down. We're going to get a 3rd High Templar as well. Expensive losses here for Classic. Yeah, we have to engage. It's all or nothing. Corruptors are coming in from behind. Storms are being thrown down. The Archons, they do zone these Corruptors away. Big Archon shots. But it looks like we are sniping those Tempests. Yeah, they're going down one after the other. There's 3 Tempests left. Now there's only 2. Now 1. And soon to be none. And Su, he takes the fight. Does take the fight at the end, forces a recall, and now we're getting into Stalkers. Now we have Blink. Is it too late though? How many Broodlords? 2. Oh my god. As we were focusing on the Tempest, we are running out of Broodlords. Here come the Blink Stalkers. No shot, and this is it. The Blink Stalker transition. It's what we've been waiting for. There's only 2 Broods. Classic, he can still pull this off. As long as that Broodlord count stays low, mate, these Blink Stalkers, they can pop off. And that's a lot of Blink Stalkers. Again, I was hoping for this earlier. Now we can finally get into it. Again, Blink was researched. We're pushing on forward. Classic is remaxing as he has the better economy. And Su, that was all he had left. We get 1 Broodlord and now the 2nd. GG gets called. No more Broodlords remaining. And Classic will qualify for the StarsWar 11 Korean Closed Qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Classic does it. He takes the series in the end. Oh my god. That was an intense one there. GG, well played. Classic, he barely comes out on top there, 2-0. That was a very close game where if these small minute details were a little bit different, right? It's like if we had preserved a couple more Broodlords, or if we had been able to chase Classic down and shut down everything in the sky, maybe we could have kept on pushing. It came down to the wire there. It was very unfortunate that Su didn't know about bottom left. Remember, Su, he didn't scout the bottom left hand base. He didn't know it was there. If he was aware, I'm sure he would have denied it. And if we had less mining, then suddenly, you know, the remax on Blink Stalkers is smaller. The remax in general for Classic would have been smaller as well, or would have taken longer. Again, I could have said that for both players, though, as Su also got a base up and running. GG. GG, well played. An intense game there. Congratulations to Classic. And with that, we have one final series. We have one final series here, one final qualifying match. It's going to be Creator versus Beyond. Let's go. Either Creator or Beyond will qualify for the Korean Closed Qualifier. We'll see which one. We'll see which one. We have to do the Q&A ourselves. Yeah. I think that's very much so known that the basically like the quality testing is like done by the community for the community. So, currently in StarCraft. Much love to all the map makers out there. And people involved in the map makers community as well. This will pay you for your work. I think the most that the map makers get is anything from TLMC. I think that's most of where they would get their earnings or any compensation for maps. I could be mistaken. Could be mistaken. But here we go. We're getting into our next series. Oh my! Oh, predictions! Oh god, I almost forgot. Predictions back. Let's go. Okay, so with that classic, he will advance on, and we have one qualifying match left, one qualifying spot left for tonight, for the entire broadcast. Here we go. Up next is going to be Beyond versus Creator. If you are in the chat, predictions are soon to be open. And when I say soon to be open, they are currently open in the chat. So place your bets on who you think. Predictions open. Place your bets on how you think this series will unfold and who you believe will qualify for the StarsWar 11 closed qualifier. Let's go. Spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player representing Club NV. It is Creator. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion, the red Terran. It is Beyond. Oh no. There we go. Will I fix his camera or Demi stop proxy hatching? Find out in tomorrow's episode. Demi will never stop proxy hatching. What do you mean, Papi? What do you mean? Ay, ay, ay. It's not frozen. It's not frozen. I just like it, Papi. I just like it. Ay, ay, ay. Hold on. Yeah. We like it, Papi. As we're settling into our TVP, and I'm excited. Beyond, of course, he has been trying to work his way through. He was forced into the ace match against Nightmare. He had a very close series against Nightmare earlier today. Now he's up against Creator. He has made it to a qualifying match, going for a double gas opener. Much more aggressive start here from Beyond, going for a Rax into Factory as a follow-up. Rax, there we go, into that Factory here for Beyond. Meanwhile, across the map, Creator just going for a standard opener himself. Just a more aggressive opener from our Terran player. And we'll see where this does lead. Now, a double gas opener can lead into a committed mine drop. It can lead into Reaper Hellion, or it can even lead into Reactored Cyclones. So we'll see which one we do embrace here, as the Reactor is on the way. And we do have potential for an add-on swap. We do have potential. Reaper going to be moving out across the map. Going to get some scouting information. Does get eyes on the expansion on the low ground. And will rotate over towards the main base. He's trying to. Likewise, we can see Creator in position to deny the scouts. He gets eyes on the Reaper. He sees. He's aware. Is in position. And we can see that Creator is going for a Twilight Council. Now, we've seen a lot of aggressive builds out of Creator. We've seen 4-gate blink or even 3-gate blink out of him more often than not. So we'll see how aggressive Creator is feeling today. Meanwhile, we can see no add-on swap, but it is going to be reacted Reaper Hellion. So a bit of an older school build here from Beyond. Should be building up towards 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. We can commit a little bit harder to 5 Reapers and 3 Hellions. We'll see how hard we want to commit. And there it is. So 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions from Beyond. We're moving out, and now we're working on our next step here. Marines into tank production. Meanwhile, Beyond is pushing. And we spoke about how Creator has been very aggressive recently with his Blink Stalkers. Blink is on the way, 1 gateway in the main base, and we have 2 gateways to the natural. It's going to be at least 3-gate Blink. And we're pushing in. Again, the goal here is to get some economic damage done. We dive on top of the Stalkers. On top of the army, trading with it even. Yeah, Reaper's going to be going down. Hellion gets targeted, and we will shut this down. That wasn't really worth it for Beyond. He does at least confirm the gateways. He confirms the opener. He didn't see the Twilight Council, but he may as well have. But that was a pretty big investment for mainly scouting information for Bjorn. It's not exactly worth it here. Back at home, tank production has commenced. Bunkers are on the way. Bjorn, he was able to count the gateways. He's aware of 3 gateways at least, so he's getting ready for the counterattack. He knows that Blink Stalkers are on the way, and we need tanks and bunkers ASAP. Meanwhile, because we know it's only 3 gateways, Creator should be expanding. Creator, he should be expanding. You can see that Bjorn, he's trying to figure out whether or not there is an expansion. Bjorn, he's trying to piece it together here with his Reapers, rotating around. Meanwhile, Creator should soon be pushing, and he should be expanding behind his push. Again, 3-gate Blink is not all in by any means. Back at home, we have our first tank, soon to be 2. The second tank is in production. Oh, the Reapers are going to get caught out. At least one of them is. Up! Up! Can we catch it? We can! Both Reapers go down at the same time. Raven harass into the main. Keen eyes at a Creator. Really good reaction. Does zone back that Raven. And Creator, he's going in. Really nice setup here at a Beyond though. No bunker, but he has a tank. He has Marines in position. No stim either, but his units are here where they need to be. Yeah, as the Stalkers go in, they will be forced out. It's a very nice positioning out of Beyond. The Stalkers, they don't really do much of anything. They pick up a couple of Marines. They can maybe get a depot. But again, not much more than that. And behind this, Creator is expanding. Taking his 3rd base, working towards Storm. A very bold move. So it is a little more traditional or a little more standard for a Protoss player to go into Robo, into Colossus from here. But rushing into Storm is going to be an interesting one. It is very risky. It does allow you to go for things like Storm drops or be a little bit more assertive with your army. It's very high risk, high reward. But you're also vulnerable to snipes. And the High Templar themselves are very vulnerable themselves. They're very fragile units. So we'll see if Creator can make this work against Beyond. So you see Beyond scouring around. He's getting a 3rd CC, so he's not going all in. Or he's very quickly just working on that next step. Working towards the mid game. Not being overly aggressive. Just going to be chilling here on a 3-1-1 setup, now working towards a 5-1-1 setup. Which means Creator, he should get away with his Storm. Scan reveals the production, does get eyes on the Immortal, so we should be aware that there are no Colossi, otherwise the Colossus would have come out. That was actually a pretty big scan for Bjorn. Yeah, immediately Ghost Academy. Like, as soon as you see the Immortal, it's like, okay, it's not Colossus, which means it must be Storm. So Bjorn, he pieces it together, working towards Ghosts. Working towards EMPs, but before he can get into Ghosts, here come the Storms! Up! Up! Speaking of, Duke raise the army. Not a bad storm to start. Raider on the hunt. Does get a Marauder. Tank sieges on the high ground. At the same time, Bjorn moving out with his own drop across the map towards the 3rd base. The Bay is on the way to eventually work towards Colossus and Disruptors. Storm is merely a stepping stone, and basically Creator, he was there to deny a 3rd, but there was no 3rd base. So Creator backs off. And now he has to focus on his defense. The medevac drop is here outside that 3rd. At the same time, Raven threatens the natural. I assumed it was going to be Colossus first, but no, we're going into Disruptor first. Disruptor's on the way for Creator. Bold move. Is going for it. At the same time, Zealot drop into the main. Zealots are on the way. Ghosts are amassing, making 3 ghosts at a time. Vikings on the way as well. To help deal with Colossus, to help deal with War Prisms. Yeah, we even have a safety turret. Bjorn is looking pretty secure. Creator even sneaking out a Dark Shrine. Bold move here out of Creator. We'll see if it pays off. It's Scan looks like does take down an observer. Oh, no, never mind. Scan was looking for the observer. Doesn't quite get it. As Creator does have his observers a little bit further back. As so far, this has been a pretty passive mid-game here. Creator initially moved out, but instead we're just going to be chilling. Beyond trying to deny any kind of scouting information, looking for any spotter units, like the Probe or the Zealot. Creator is going to move out. Doing the same. Scan reveals the army. Widowmine has been spotted as well. Beyond going for the stim! Ooh. Gets an observer. Wait, am I crazy? Yeah, gets an observer. It should show here. I don't know why it does. There it is. Observer was sniped. Outside of that, Beyond just chilling, taking his 4th base, working to double expanding, working towards a 5th and a 6th. +1 ship weapons on the way. 2nd starport for eventually Viking and eventually Liberator production. Again, interesting that Creator has just avoided Colossus this entire time. Has avoided the Colossi. We'll see if he can get away with it. We do see Beyond going for the upgrade. The Forge. Oh my god, he's gonna survive. Nova goes off. Juicy connection there. As Creator, he barely does save that Forge. Saves +2. I think Beyond is talking about... Smooch. Not like this. If anyone can translate in the chat, I would appreciate it. Obviously, I assume it's referring to this. But Beyond did not save it. Oh! Please destroy you the Forge yourself. Yes, sir. Creator lying to him, by the way. Not killing the Forge, but a big shout to Crank. Crank translating for us. Much love. Never going to be going up. Zoning back the army. That's 2 Novas already. We have 3 more. We have 2 more. 1 Nova left. That tank line is going to be able to hold. As Creator was pushing in, we're going for the planetary, and we will not get it. Very close. Is Creator gonna ask, can you kill the planetary yourself? that would be perfect. That'd be poetic. Yeah. Please destroy your planetary. Again, Creator and Beyond, they're good friends. X-Prime boys. Creator, Beyond, and Maru, all good friends. But alas, Beyond saves his planetary, Creator saves his upgrades. Tit for tat. Diving in the army at the same time, orders are harassed across the map. We're getting a mineral line, we're diving on the base. Diving on the tank. Oh. And we will get it. Never goes up. Tank goes down, but at the same time, that's 11 dead probes. And once again, the repairs are too good and the planetary survives. These DT run-bys have not been worth it. Not with these Widow Mines, turrets, and planetaries in position. Not with the power of repair. So as a result, as Creator has been a little bit too wasteful harassing, Beyond is maxed. Beyond, he has maxed out. He has a better economy, of course. Almost at 90 workers, now taking a 5th base. And Creator still lagging behind a little bit here. What are we working with? 7 Disruptors, 4 High Templar. We're relying quite heavily here on Purification Novas. Very risky. Very risky here by Creator. He's moving out. Beyond, he sees the High Templar. He wants it. Stims forward. And he gets it. Gets one. He wants the other. Very nice pick up here by Beyond. Picking Creator apart, left and right. Creator going for a Stargate. This will be for Skytoss. Big scout here by Beyond. Scans everything. Does get eyes on the Stargate. Oh, Storm Does miss. Does miss the mark. Beyond splits in time. Very nice split by Beyond. And Beyond has been just slightly more efficient here these past couple of moments, but now it comes down to a fight. Novas go up. Gets a couple of Marauders, not bad. You can see Beyond coming in from behind, setting up a surround or a counter attack. The Disruptors! Yeah, they're looking exposed. Novas, they will connect though. Big connections. Beyond, he takes him to the face. Planetary is going to be going down, but it does target down as many Disruptors as possible. Going down to 5. Yeah, losing 2 Disruptors in that fight. Scans going off. Beyond trying to get eyes on any kind of run by. We catch a Ghost. Ooh. Big tank shots to the face though. This Creator is retreating. At the same time going for a big warping of DTs. Ready for a run by, I'm sure. Ready to harass. Scan does reveal some of them. Very nice scan there from Beyond. Yeah, we can see Beyond transitioning. Oh god, gets another Disruptor. Getting 2. Big pig offs. 2 Disruptors go down, but he's working towards Libs. That is going to trigger a response to go into Sky Toss. But Sky Toss is still a ways off. Which means Beyond, he will be in control with the Libs. With Lib Ghost. And he's already got Vikings. Like, he's already ready for the Sky Toss. He's ready for it, Batty. And Creator is going to try to break his way through. There it is, making 3 carriers at a time. The scan does reveal it. Beyond, he's fully aware. These scans have been on point here for Beyond. He sees everything. Playing with map hacks, Batty. Yeah, again, the mass orbital here doing so well for Beyond. Just like constant scans. EMPs like cannons brings them all down. This space is going to fall. At the same time, Creator going for a big DT counterattack. And can he get the base? Can he get the planetary? It's so close, but it looks like, oh, the repairs are too good. Stalkers are coming in from behind. Creator going for a base trade. Yeah, Beyond, he gets 1 base. He's going for another. He's came to the production. He gets on top of the carriers, and the carriers are falling one after the other. Beyond in full control of this. The planetary lives. Likewise, we're barely breaking through the ramp. And Beyond, he shuts down the carriers. He shuts down the Stargates. Now, Creator, he is gaining ground. But the quality of the army is definitely in favor of Beyond. Is in favor of the Terran. We do have DTs. If only there weren't so many orbitals. Dark Templar could be dangerous. If only. But we are came to the production. We shut down the Libs. We're shutting down the starports as well. Likewise, Beyond hunting down more bases. He did not break into the main. The DTs did defend. The Novas! Big connections. Beyond takes some massive Novas to the face. Uh-oh. And you know what? A couple of Novas is sometimes all it takes. Beyond still has a mining base on the right. Creator denied mining towards the left. So Beyond has an economy. Creator does not. Yeah, Stalkers are going down. Big pick off here. Punishing that forward blink. Now Creator, he is taking down the production. Looking at the units tab, what do we have to work with? Okay, Creator has a supply lead. He has Storm. So Creator has Storm. He has 4 Disruptors. 2 of them with the main army. Beyond sees. He has EMPs, plenty of them. Show us the Storm. Again, both High Templar in this War Prism. He has to be so careful because of those Vikings. Meanwhile, the main base goes down. Creator, from here, he can recall or he can fight his way through. Oh, the EMP! We get an Immortal. Big EMP on the army. Nova, ooh, threatens a shot. Beyond did scan. And again, Beyond, he still has 1, 2 mining bases. Meanwhile, Liberator still hasn't been dealt with. Creator trying to get top right up and running. And Bjorn has his production back up and running. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Bjorn. So Creator's on the timer. He's got to go. He needs to make something happen here and now, going for a big warp in. But that's all the money that Creator had left. Creator trying to double expand. Nova's going off on the production. Let's go. We still only have those 4 disruptors. Oh, the disruptor, it gets targeted. We're down to 3. 3 disruptors left. DT's harassing as best they can. Oh, they get caught here towards the left. Oh, another big EMP. Nova gets one Marauder. Not quite an immortal. Creator does have some mining going on. Yeah, he's forced to recall. Recalls over towards the left-hand side. Will try to deal with the libs, but they're still up and running. They cannot be dealt with. EMP's going off. We catch the Stalkers, not like this, and every Stalker's going to go down. The trap was set, and Bjorn cleans up so much of Creator's army supply. Oh, that was a big blow to Creator. How many Stalkers? That was 18 Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. And suddenly, Creator no longer has a supply lead. That was a brutal catch. And with that, Creator, I mean, he still has potential. He can still win a fight. But everything has to go right. He needs to connect with the Novas. He needs the Storms. Meanwhile, Recall is on cooldown. Remember that. And Bjorn, he's looking for bases. He's on the hunt. Well, we go for the dive. Yeah, we get one. And we're going to get the second Disruptor as well. An okay connection with that Nova. Oh, Disruptor's being targeted. The armies do trade. Bjorn turning back around. The Ghosts, are they getting caught out? No, Creator's getting caught out instead. Big EMP. Storms are looking not too bad. But that was every single Storm, and Creator, he's just running out of steam, running out of units. Bleeding out so much. The scan. There's one High Templar left. No! One High Templar, one Immortal. We collapse on the Stalkers. Expensive losses here for Creator. Bleeding out far too many Stalkers. The Immortal is so low. Oh, big Storm. We get another Warp In. It's so close. The Warp In finishes. No shot. It barely does finish. We force back Bjorn. We force him back, Papi. Creator, he has bottom left up and running. It's mining. He can warp in Zealots. He can still take a fight. So basically, Bjorn has 2 mining bases here. Or 1.5. That's a kill on the orbital. Bjorn still on those 2 bases. A Creator with a pretty comparable economy, if not a better economy than Bjorn. With 2 fresh bases. Big EMPs on the Zealots. As we're cornered, we force a recall, and Creator, he's going to lose almost everything here. A brutal catch once again. GG gets called. There's nothing left, and Bjorn will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Whew. Congratulations here to Bjorn as he does take the first game. Again, it was a very close game towards the end there. Creator, he had his moments, but there was some like unsung heroes there in the base trade for Bjorn. Honestly, if Bjorn didn't have those 2 libs, those 2 liberators denying mining on one of those bases for so long, if they weren't there, like Creator, he would have had such a better economy, would have had some bigger warp-ins. So much would have been different there. Likewise, Bjorn did a great job at just catching out so many of those units, whether they were disruptors, whether they were stalkers as well. Like, the base trade was really, like, the best answer that Creator had, which is why he initiated the base trade. It was, like, his only way to kind of make some magic happen there, and he almost did, but alas, Beyond was still looking pretty cool, calm, and collected there. He was very much so in control of that game. Had the more efficient army, and did break through in the end. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Beyond, as he does take game 1. Now we're getting into game number 2. Getting into game number 2. Those ghost death sounds need to be in every language pack, or is that from a skin? No, they're default. The death sounds are default. They are not in every language pack. Every language has their own unique death sound. The Chinese death sound for the ghost, that's like the most intense. Like whoever was the voice actor for the ghost death sound on the Chinese sound voice pack is crazy. They're really into it. But I think that's the most intense. If you've ever heard of it, you hear it during WTL, because whenever we cast WTL, it's on the Chinese client or on the Chinese voice pack. For those that are curious, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Hecate, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Club NV, down in this series, looking to fight back, hoping for an ace match. It is Creator. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Beyond. And we are going for a fake proxy rack. So this is what is scary about scouting early on. As Creator, he goes in, he sees that the Rax is missing, and he is checking the third base. Now, it is not uncommon for Terran players to hide their Rax at the natural, at the triangular third or linear third, and he checks! He does come across a big scout hit for Creator. He confirms that it is a fake proxy, and he may even delay it, which will be huge. Second SCV is on the way. The Rax should complete without too much issue. Second probe arrives though. Oh my god, the worker on worker action. Let's go. The probe micro. The RNG. Oh, the SCV. It looks like it will finish. Yeah, the Rax does complete. SCV is going to get the hell out of there. Likewise, probes are getting the hell out of there as well. And the Reaper will come out. The game will progress. There was some lost mining time for Beyond, but there was also lost mining time for Creator as well. And we're getting into our game. And at least Creator, he knows that it's safe to go for his expansion. He knows what's on the way. The other big thing here is that he also knows that there's no add-on swap. Despite the fact that this is a double gas opener, there's no reactor on the racks for an add-on swap. So this is going to be a much different opener from Beyond going for... Okay, he's floating back. I was like, is he going for another rax? He's floating back home. He's coming back. And the Reaper's on the way. So Beyond was hoping to force an overreaction, but now his opener's delayed, unfortunately. So I want to give the edge to Creator here, as the Reaper does arrive. Once a probe, a lot of them do get low, but the Adept has arrived, and we do zone that Reaper away. Whew. And the Reaper will get the hell out of here. Oh, or will it? No, will not. It'll be hunted down. Really strong stuff for Creator. Remember, it was a delayed opener from Beyond because of the delayed add-ons and delayed production in general. Because of the opener, and now the Reaper goes down, so very nice start here for our Protoss. Behind this is going to be a Twilight Council opener, and Beyond has no idea. Now, from here, we are going for a CC on the high ground, not a one base all in, getting into a 1-1-1. Adept is going to confirm the lack of add-on on the factory, so a big scout here. Does confirm the starport. Saw the CC. We saw everything. Creator, he sees everything in the main. And is aware of what's going on. He also spotted the Cyclone. And behind this, we are working towards a bit of a delayed drop. Bit of a delayed drop here from Byun. So we finally can expand here on the low ground. Meanwhile, behind this, if you remember, way back in Game 1, it was 3-gate blink out of Creator. Once again, 3-gate blink out of Creator as well. 2 games in a row. We saw how unsuccessful this build was from Creator in Game 1, but here in Game 2, this is a much more messier start for Byun, so there's potential for Creator to get damage done. There is potential here for him to pop off. Oh, Cyclone gets across the map. Do you have the Medevac to support? Oh! Dropping in towards the natural. Ooh, and Creator, he does miss it, by the way. Misses the Cyclone. We get into the mineral line, and we get 3 probe kills. Very good damage here by Byun. Likewise, he also scouts and confirms the tech. He saw all the gateways, or saw some of them, enough of them at least. Sees the stalkers, knows it's blink, gets 5 probes, and does hide here in the corner of the map. Meanwhile, back at home, we're getting into Banshee production. Okay. Tanks followed by Banshees. Meanwhile, behind this Creator, he's stuck at home. Because of this medevac drop, he's stuck at home with his stalkers. He's not being aggressive or assertive whatsoever with his opener. He's just taking a third. So, Creator, he's being more defensive. He's skipping warp ins and focusing on that third base. Getting himself set up. And from here, the game is going to be settling down. Again, Byun did a great job recovering. And the Banshee has potential for damage as well. Do we have detection? We do. Do we have an observer out on the map? Banshee does get eyes on the third base. Before getting the hell out of there. Second Banshee en route. Observer should be able to get eyes on this as well as Creator. He actually saw the Banshee earlier. He saw the Tech Lab researching. The skin takes down the Observer. Nice pick off there by Byun. Does mean that these Stalkers arrive and they cannot get into the main. They're stuck on the low ground. Yeah, they get a couple of hits in on the bunker, but nothing else. Hallucination getting a full scout of the main. We do confirm the lack of tank production. Priority of bio. Oh, speaking of tanks, we catch one. Bit of a miss rally there from Byun. Bleeds out a tank. At the same time, Banshees get across the map. Oh, they force one of those Archons. They force an Archon off. 10 probes go down. 11. 12. Stalker Army trying to catch some of these units. Creator gets caught instead. Bleeds out a Stalker. Oh, bleeds out even more. These are expensive losses. Creator bleeding out so much. Cyclone dropping to the main base, and probes are falling left and right. He's being pulled apart, and this is game-ending damage. 17 probes go down. Ay, ay, ay. Again, the tri-prong harass here. We have Banshees, we have Cyclones, and we have the main army as well, all hitting at once. And Creator barely couldn't keep up. He was bleeding out units like Stalkers and probes. Now, Byun is working towards a 4 CC, so he's not going to be hitting with a big timing yet. But he's in a very nice place. He's in a very good position here. Yeah, he's going for drop play instead. Byun has an economic lead. Also tries to deny the hallucination. As the hallucination scout confirms the drop. Banshees, they come back in. No! We had 17 kills earlier, now we got 4 more on top of that. Ay, ay, ay. Again, this is becoming a bit too much. Oh. Finally, it looks like the Banshee is going to go down. Ooh, trading away with a Stalker. Cyclone drop comes back in. Able to get a couple of workers here before being shut down. A couple of workers. And I'm afraid to look here. No shot. I thought it was 22. 28 probes in total. Ay, ay, ay. Like almost 2 mineral lines worth of probes. And that is just far too much. And that is why Beyond has such a lead right now. Such a supply lead. Again, now he's taking his third base. He has an economic lead. For those that are curious, in this matchup, typically the Protoss wants to be up a base. We are even in bases plus mules, so Beyond has the economic lead. Likewise, the army supply in favor of Beyond as well. Oh. And this push is going to hit like a truck. Now, thankfully, we have Storm. Thankfully, Storm is researched, and we have 2 High Templar. So, we can defend with those Storms. We can survive. We have 1 High Templar on the ground. We have another in the Prism. Unfortunately, we have DT. Sorry, we have Ghosts. We have EMPs available. EMPs are available here, and Beyond can take a fight. Not going to be easy, but he can take it. As he's checking, looking for a 4th base. Creator has expanded, by the way, but Beyond has not seen it. Again, very reserved play here out of Beyond. He's looking for an expansion. That's what he wants to deny. Pushing on the right-hand side. He is spotted by the Observer. Creator's in position. Show us the Storm. Oh, the EMP. Oh, that was brutal. Big EMP here. Beyond shoots first. The base is going to go down. There is no Storm. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, we cancel the 4th in one swift move. That was so close as well. As soon as Creator dropped the High Templar, bam, we had the EMP. We have 1 High Templar left. Colossus have arrived, but we deny the 4th. That's all Beyond needed to do. Now he can take his own 4th base. He has the concave. Creator attempting to re-expand. Now, thankfully, he isn't relying on only High Templar. He has a couple of these Colossi. That's have 3. Vikings are amassing though. Vikings are amassing 4 Beyond. Creator getting into double disruptor production. Let's go. Working towards those disruptors. Working towards more secure splash damage here. And the game is going to settle. I mean, Beyond is maxed. Beyond is the first player to max out. Again, because of all the earlier advantages. He isn't pushing yet, though, and he should be looking to trade. Scanning, looking for the 4th. With that scan, he should recognize that the southern base has been taken instead. Should be aware. Creator pushing through the center, was spotted by that Widowmine. Beyond coming in with 2 armies, never goes off. Ooh, doesn't quite connect. On the left, we did get a Ghost. 1 disruptor, 2 disruptors go down. And a Colossus as well. Heavy losses here for Creator, and we're snowballing out of control. Creator, he bleeds out almost every single attack unit. 1 big Storm does connect. But we have the EMP. That was the only Storm available. We only had 1 High Templar. We have 2 more morphing in. Yeah, they just now popped out. They have a couple of Storms. Oh. When we do connect with the army, very nice connection. As we bleed out the War Prism. Again, Creator doing the best he can to hold, to survive. And with the most perfect Purification Novas, we can try to hold on. Zelrambai coming in, heading towards the natural. We have reinforcements in position. Yeah. We are in position. We will bleed out a couple of Ghosts. That. And the main army comes in. Good Novas. Good, better splits here out of Beyond. Avoids most of those shots. I think there was one good connection, and outside of that, left much to be desired. As Biani splits too well, the base is going to go down. And the name of the game here, this entire game too, is that Creator cannot take a fourth. His fourth base is denied once again, and he just cannot expand. Much better connection towards the end here, but one good Nova isn't good enough. Unfortunately, like, we're past that. We need some consecutive Novas as 19 probes go down. Creator, he's stuck on 3 bases. Another good connection. Oh my god! The ghosts go down. Big shots here out of Creator. He's still in this. Barely still in this. We just need one more shot like that. Voids are being pulled. Another decent connection on those Marauders. As Creator's all in. He's completely all in at this point. He has to end the game with this army. But the reinforcements, they're just too much. Another big connection. Oh my god. Creator making the most out of this, but he's running out of steam. He's running out of units. Stalkers are getting picked up. Yeah, there are only a handful of disruptors left. 2 stalkers, 2 sentries, 3 disruptors. And that's not going to be enough. Creator, he did well making it this far, but this is as far as he will make it in this tournament in StarsWar 11. GG gets called, and Byun qualifies for the Korean closed qualifier. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Byun. He will advance on 2-0 over Creator. My condolences to Creator here. Again, he's a great player, don't get me wrong. He's an amazing player, and deserving to be in the later stages of the tournament, but there's just the caliber of play here is just so high. There are just so many good players like Maru, like Cure, like Byun. It's so difficult to make it through, and Creator barely doesn't make the cut. GG, well played. Well played here to Creator, as he will bow out, and Byun makes it through into the closed qualifier. And congratulations to all the players that have made it through so far. All the players that have qualified, and let's quickly actually go over that. Un momento here. Bam, there we go, from the very top. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so this was the first qualifier. This was qualifier number 1. We have, oh, sorry, there we go. This is qualifier number 1. Can I close this? Can I guess the ad is just there. There we go. Beautiful. In qualifier number 1, we had Maru. We had Maru qualify over Shin 2-1. So Maru was the first to qualify, followed by Cure, followed by Stats, and followed by Hero. So we have Maru, Cure, Stats, and Hero all making it into the closed qualifier in the first open qualifier. And we have them joined by Byun, Gumiho, Solar, and Classic. Oh boy. So we have the closed qualifier set here. It's going to be 3 Protoss, 4 Terran, and 1 Zerg. Again, unfortunately, there's not much Zerg representation. A bit of a feels bad man. We spoke about it earlier, but Dark did not participate in these qualifiers. We can only speculate as to why. The leading theory as to why Dark wouldn't participate here is maybe he can't travel. Maybe he cannot get a visa because of his military service. It is possible that, especially because Dark is one of the best Zerg players in the world, straight up one of the best, arguably top 2 alongside Serral, like second only to Serral. It wouldn't make sense for him not to want to compete in this. So if he's not competing, it has to be for other reasons. So theory is maybe it's because of his military service that Dark isn't a part of this, which is a shame, just because that means, you know, less Zerg or less diversity in the matchups. It's mainly Terran and Protoss here for the Korean closed qualifier. Again, the other big one is Shin. Shin came so close. As a reminder, who did Shin fall to in the first qualifier? Maru. Maru, the best Terran player in all of South Korea. That's nothing to be ashamed of to lose against him, and Shin even forced the ace match. So like Shin, he popped off, but it's still Maru, you know, so got a little bit unlucky with the seeding, and Shin failed in the first qualifier. In the second qualifier, Shin also went to the ace match against a fellow Zerg player. He went to the ace match against Solar. Solar, of course, our reigning GSL champion from last year. And Shin also forced to him, so it's a bit of a shame that Shin isn't a part of this. And like, if you look at the qualifiers, like it makes sense, right? Shin, he lost to Maru and Solar. I mean, they're some of the best players in all of Korea, right? Like Maru's best Terran, Solar's like top 2 Zerg. Like, what are you gonna do? So, really rough seeding for Shin. Really rough seeding. They were really rough qualifiers, I should say. You could definitely argue easier players were elsewhere on the bracket, and with that, Shin does not make it through, so only one Zerg player will be a part of this. Again, it is a bit of a feels bad, man. But if you're a fan of TVT and TVP and PvP, then again, we have plenty of that matchup available. As the closed qualifier is on the horizon, it's in 2 weeks. This closed qualifier bracket is going to be seeded and played out in 2 weeks, and we will be casting it here on the CranKy Ducklings live for you. For those who are curious, I'm not even sure myself. How many make it through the closed qualifier? Top 3. Top 3 make it through the closed qualifier into the main event. So, honestly, out of all these players, out of 8 players, only 3 make it to the main event. It's hard to say who it's going to be. I feel like a lot of this is going to be determined on the bracket. Depending on what the bracket is looking like, some players may have stronger chances than others. Just because certain players are better at certain matchups. They're better against certain players. So, yeah, it's going to be a wild one. It's going to be a wild one. But again, a shout out to Classic Hero Stats alongside Bjorn, Kyor, Gumiho, Maru, and Solar as well. As we're all going to be duking it out here in the closed qualifier in 2 weeks. Now, you may be wondering, hold up, 2 weeks? That's a ways away. What's happening for 2 weeks where we have to wait? Well, I'm glad you asked. The answer to that question is the European and America's Open Qualifiers and the Asia Open Qualifiers. As you can see all the way up here, all the other regions. All the other regions also have their Open Qualifiers, not just Korea. And the way that this is going to work is that first we're going through all the regional Open Qualifiers, and then we have all the regional Closed Qualifiers. So we're wrapping up all the Open Qualifiers first, and then we'll have all the Closed Qualifiers thereafter. So that is the plan. That is the plan here. That's why there's a 2-week break. That's why there's going to be a 2-week break here between now and the Closed Qualifier. So now you know. And mark your calendars as all the dates are set. All the dates are set for all these matches. So make sure you are a part of that. Again, we're going to be part of it here. So there you go. Bam. Well, predictions, of course. Predictions, Papi. Predictions. Yeah, we're paying them out. I see in the chat, when will the next patch be in effect? To be determined. To be determined. Currently in PTR phase. So what I do know about the upcoming patch is that, one, it's a part of the PTR, and if the next patch were to go live anytime soon, I would imagine the next patch would go live after this event, after I almost called it Masters Coliseum, my apologies, after StarsWar, after StarsWar 11, but before DreamHack Dallas. Remember, ESL usually want to focus and prioritize patches and like schedule them around their major events. And DreamHack Dallas is in what, 2 months? Yeah, is in 2 months. So this is an educated guess. I don't know, but I would assume if they wanted to push it out, it would be before DreamHack Dallas or after DreamHack Dallas, right? Because it's one of two things. Either they want the new patch for ESL Spring, or they want the new patch for the World Finals, right? For the Esports World Cup. That I was trying to remember what it was called. For the Esports World Cup, right? So it's either one or the other. They either want it for DreamHack Dallas or they want it for the World Cup. We don't really know what's. And I'm sure really we just want to make sure that the patch is refined and that we're able to tighten everything up and that, you know, we can catch any bugs. Big shout out to Sinistro in that chat soon. Yeah, let's go. Shout out to Sinistro in the chat. But yeah, you know, if you want to take part and, you know, provide a community service, you can download the PTR yourself. You can jump on the ladder. You can test it out. And if you find a bug, you can always report it just to make sure we can minimize any kind of bugs and minimize any issues when the patch does go live and when it does hit the ladder. So, yeah, exactly. Exciting times. Very exciting to see a new patch. Very exciting to see not just a new patch, but also a new maps for the 1v1 ladder, for the 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4 ladder. Let's go. Team game enjoyers unite. Rejoice. Gonna be a good time. But otherwise, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft action. Let me just double check our calendar. Let me just double check. But tomorrow we have the EU and Americas qualifiers for this event. We also have Duckling Open tomorrow. That is the return. If you don't know, !SDO. !SDO in the chat. Duckling Open has returned and is coming back tomorrow. That is our amateur bronze to diamond tournament. So if you happen to be platinum, diamond, gold, bronze, silver, we're going to be hosting a tournament just for you. Just for you, papi. Again, no pro gamers, no pro players, none of that nonsense. No. We're here for the people. We're here for the Twitch chat GMs, which happen to be like, you know, Metal League players. We're here for the Twitch. Let's go, papi. Let's go. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it won't be casted on this channel. It'll be casted on a different channel. It's going to be casted by Kuro. The reason for that is because tomorrow it's going to be clashing with the European and America's qualifiers, the Open Qualifiers for StarsWar. So we're going to be focusing this channel on that while the other event is happening at the same time. So a bit of a shame. Could have played. I mean, you still can. I mean, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow, papi. It's tomorrow. Duckling Open. Take part, papi. Take part. So if you're interested, the link is in the chat. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you for the support. !Socials. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. You can support us on Patreon. You can subscribe on Twitch. All the money that we make goes towards our tournaments. Tournaments like the Duckling Open and Master Swan Open. So plenty of events going on. Otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more StarCraft action. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Fala, galera.